Welcome to the Marg Experience. Today's guest has closed over $40 million in real estate, has done more than 150 transactions, and he has been Marg's top producer for the last 2 years. His name is Juan Carlos Robledo. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Juan Carlos, yay.
Thank you.
Juan
Thank you,
Carlos. Well, I want to start off by congratulating you on being the top performer at Marg 2 years running.
Thank you.
It's not an easy feat to say, closing $40 million in transactions, more than 150 transactions. Tell us a little bit about how you feel and how have you been able to help so many families?
It's first of all, it's an honor to be here as your guest, right? Even though we spend some time together, but we actually do work, and sometimes I don't see you and all that stuff. It feels great. It's like being in a family, right? I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be one of your agents, to work with your builder, with Point Homes. I'm just grateful for everything you've done for myself and my family.
Well, that's the end of the podcast.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. No. So, being the top producer, you mentioned Point Homes. You mentioned, the things that you've been able to do for your family because of the opportunities. Do you feel that being associated with a builder or being associated with a brokerage that services a builder directly, has that been a good helping tool for you to ultimately, end up in that top producer position?
Yes, definitely. And you've said it yourself. There's nothing wrong by working with a builder or by sitting in a model home.
Mm-hmm.
Au contraire, it helps you build your tenure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really probably my business is probably 80% point.
Okay.
Right. It's rare. I do a couple of resales here and there. You've helped me out past couple of transactions. It's a headache, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying going with new homes, it's way easier for the client, not only for myself, but I'm speaking for the client itself, and it's a way more smooth transaction.
Okay.
If I would to say.
So you would say that your niche would be new construction, specifically with Point Homes, because of the ease of use?
I would say yes. That's correct.
Okay. And how do you think, because I know we started in real estate together, and I know at the beginning it probably wasn't the easiest transition. It probably wasn't the easiest thing to do. How have you overcome different hurdles in becoming the agent that you are now?
I think it's going to be with the support of for example, you as a broker, my family. Those are the major my majors. How would you say that handled, right? As far as me pushing myself through different types of obstacles. That's my engine right there. My family, and the help with a good broker, and I'm in good. I think I'm in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm in good hands.
I hope.
Yeah. Don't fire me.
Yeah, right. Now, aside from the real estate stuff, I know that you and I are closely related. We're your kid's godfather, and you're my nephew's godfather. So we're really intertwined in our relationship.
Yes.
Which only further cements what we're doing here. But with that being said, if I was an agent, a brand new agent starting in real estate, what are some of the best advice? What is some of the best advice that you can give to a brand new real estate agent as a top producer like yourself, that you've seen different markets and you've seen different things happen?
Yeah, when we started, the market was kind of like similar to this one, right? It was a buyer's market, went to the sellers, now we're back to buyers. But to all the new agents, of course, all they hear is free leads, and they just go running to free leads. Well, you need somebody to actually be there, sit down and explain to you, to train you, to kind of nourish you, like baby you in a certain way, right? Not like fully do a transaction for you. But I would say you need to interview a couple of brokers and, find the one that best suits you. Don't just go for the free leads, right? Because at the end of the day, nothing's free.
Yeah.
So I firmly believe that if they interview with our brokerage, I mean, they're gonna be over here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and once again, I thank you very much for the kind words. But tell me a little bit about your experience in real estate. What has been one of the craziest real estate transactions or nightmares? Or, I mean, if you're able to say names, if you're able to say situations, but what's been one of the craziest real estate stories that you have?
I think you know which one, and it was. I'm gonna say his name. I don't know. I hope he's doing okay, Mister. I remember his name, John Selman, VA. And thank you for serving our country, Mr. Selman. It was. I had to actually. He wasn't signing the CD. We're about to close. I had to go actually find. He put his address in the contract. He didn't put an apartment number. Mm-hmm. I knew he was a VA. I saw a flag, and I told my wife was with me. I had my 1-year-old at that time. Right now he's already 9, going on 10. So I'm like, hey, I know he lives there, and that where that flag is, and
So you went to this guy's apartment?
I went to knock so tell him, hey, you know what, you need to sign a CD. If not, you're not gonna get your house. Mm-hmm. So I did that. Right, and I told my wife, you know what? He lives there. If you hear gunshots, call the cops. So I knocked on his door. The wife came out, and she said, "Oh, Juan Carlos, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Miss Salman, I need you to call John, or if he's here, I need him to sign the CD. Mm-hmm. If not, he's not gonna, he's not gonna get into his. You guys are not gonna go into your new home." He wasn't answering phone calls, emails, texts, anything. So she's like, and I'm like, "When?" I'm like, "Well, right now. Give him a call. I'll be here outside. Don't worry." And then she got the phone, called him. John, Juan Carlos is here. He needs you to sign the CD. If not, we're not going to get into our new home. And then, boom, hung up. He said he'll do it right now. At first, I believed he wasn't going to do it right now. Whatever. Yeah. But then at the end, he did. And then once the transaction is over, thank God we closed, whatever, he sent me an email where he's saying he'd rather go back to war than go through the transaction of buying real estate again. So...
So I mean, needless to say, I feel like
crazy.
I feel like you've come a long way since that time. Since somebody wanted to go back to war instead of doing a transaction with you.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I noticed is that you're a very very likable person, and you develop a good friendship with your clients. I'll be like, oh well, Mr. So and so, and you, oh yeah, he sold me this and he does that, and. I mean, one very famous one is Mr. Barley's koi pond. You know how Mr. Barley has been, and I know Mr. Barley because you've introduced me to Mr. Barley, who was at one point your client, became kind of your friend. Yeah. Through the relationship that you guys have guided, is you've shared him. I've introduced him to me and whatnot, and I feel like you make that. A point. You become friends with these people, with your clients, and it's more than just a transaction for you. Do you think that that's part of the reason why you've been able to become a top producer versus an agent who kind of just treats it like a transaction and just moves from one to another?
Right. I think. Thank you. Right, but I haven't actually seen it from that point. But most of my clients. Like I said, most of my clients, they are people that I know or that I talk to or that I send a text or Christmas cards, whatever. Yeah, I think that's gonna. I think that I'm a likable person. Some people say Juan Carlos is he looks grudgy or he looks
grumpy
or he doesn't like me, and I just have a circle of small friends, right? But I think that I'm pleasant to most of the people, or I'm educated, say hi to everyone. I'm respectful because I think that I believe that that's how I was. That's how I grew up, right? They showed me to respect other people, and I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I see it with even. Let's talk about that client of yours that owns the. Is it a torta shop?
Oh, yeah.
Lonches?
The Lonches Juaritos, yeah.
Lonches Juaritos. And I remember when he bought the house from you, and this goes to the people that sometimes think, no, I can't buy a house. It's not in my thought process. It's not in my possibility. It's not in the realm of possibilities for me. But this gentleman, he was selling lunch, sandwiches, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And he started off with a small cart, and I remember you. Tell me more about that story, because you told me that this guy, we were in disbelief when he said, I'm going to pay for it cash or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, well, he told me that. Well, I don't remember how I met him, but he's told me he had his own establishment of tortas, right? Lonches Juarito, shout out, really good lunches, by the way. And so he started telling me how he didn't have any social. He didn't. He had a couple of thousand there, but I'm like, we need like 40, 50 grand. You know, I'm trying to get you something, and he's like, don't worry about it. I'll get you 30 grand in a month. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And we had really good help. Of course, one of the experts in lending, you know, hard money lending. Shout out Sabin Marcus. You know, he helped me out in that transaction. But it was crazy how he just put himself to that and said, I'm gonna get 30 grand in a month. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And as a realtor, you gotta have faith in your clients at one point and believe in what they say. And he did come up with the money. He bought his house. I think right now he has like 3 or 4 establishments of Lonches Juaritos all throughout Paso, one in Eastlake, Socorro, Alameda, and I think he's going for he has a cart, like a little cart, right? And I think he's going for the 5th one in the west side. So he's doing really good.
Yeah. So it's seeing like you said, you have to have faith in your clients. As a top producing agent, you have to be your client's top cheerleader, because the process isn't always easy, right? Sometimes you have to deliver bad news. Sometimes the end result is giving them the great news of here's your keys. But what are some bad news that you've had to deliver throughout the process with your clients?
I'm trying to remember this. There's been quite a couple example right now. One of my friends, his home didn't appraise, right? So that was really hard for me to
when you say didn't appraise, what does that mean?
Okay, appraisal means the home didn't come at value. We were selling it at a specific price point, and it came like 30,000 lower. To me, that was really sad news. But of course, the thing that I did, right, I did tell him and I explained to him, you know what, your house might not come in value. So he was aware of it. And that's, as an agent, I think you should do that, because if you don't tell them anything, if you tell them, oh yes, your house is worth, example, 300,000, when you know the house is worth 250 in the market analysis, where it tells you what the price of per square foot of the homes that have sold in the area, then you're just not. I don't think you're doing your work.
Yeah.
But if you tell them up front, Mr. Mr. Chuchito, your home might not come in at value, but again, I'm giving my opinion. I'm an expert, but some clients, you know, I want this. Okay, I'm gonna try it your way, but you're aware that.
Yeah.
So he was aware, and that was really, I felt really bad telling him those news. I never expected that. Right. As we speak, the market is really changing a lot.
Okay. And in that change, I mean, I've seen and I've heard some stories from you, like even at one point, a person buying a house from you, I mean, and it's not a joke or anything, but passed away during the process, no?
Yes, you know, got rest in peace, you know. I think he was a client. We were selling a Sydney. It was one of our models in Point. Shout out Point, El Silo. And we had him under contract. I think he was going to buy cash. And, you know, COVID took him away. It was really sad. His son came here to the office, and he told me that his father passed away.
And how did that impact you as a person, as an agent, as someone who was dealing with this person on a one-on-one?
He was. I mean, it's pretty sad, because I saw him like a couple of days before. I heard the news. They told me he was in San Antonio getting treated, and you know, I just pray to God that he was going to be okay. Not only for the transaction or anything like that, but it's a person. You know, he's a person. He's a human being, and it was really sad. Yeah. It was really sad.
And I think you use that as a learning experience, like you said, and not just as a transaction, but as a human being. I think that helped you sensitize and empathize a little bit more with your clients. And I think, I mean, me as your broker and sometimes your mentor, I feel like that the different experiences that you've used, like you said, Mr. Salmon, or, you know, short appraisals coming in short, or clients who something very, very unexpected happens to. It's molded you into the agent that you are. Not only that, I feel like you've used that and you've built on it. You've used it to become a better agent, to mentor other agents, to help other agents, and ultimately to help. We do this for a living. We do this to help ourselves. I know one thing that you're doing right now, and that's very, very special. And everybody who's listening to this and watches this is invited to his housewarming party. I'm going to put the address in the comments. But tell me a little bit about the house that you're building.
Thank you, Mario. We've been working on it for a couple of years now. It's soon to be ready. Again, it's something that started off as, let's scratch our future home or our new home, and all of a sudden, I think you came up with a design, and we just made a couple of tweaks here and there, and we had my dream floor plan.
Yeah, it was actually a house that I was gonna list.
Oh yes, correct.
And that I told you because he had some
memorabilia or something.
Memorabilia room and everything, and I told you, hey, I like this house, and you collect stuff, and I was like, this house is like a house that would be really cool for you. And then we just started designing on a piece of paper, and then you took it over to the draftsman at Point Homes, and they added the proper things, the restrooms and everything, and I'm very, very excited for your house at 124. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited for your housewarming party. I'm also very happy for the growth that I've seen in you as an agent, in you as a top producer. If you had one piece of advice for someone who maybe has failed the real estate exam and is down on their luck, and they're like, oh man, like I'm not gonna try this again, or I'm gonna go back to whatever it is that I was doing. If you had one piece of advice for someone who is struggling to pass the real estate exam from a top producer, what would that be?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Me personally, it right, and at one point, I did it like 7 times or something like that. The third time national, state, like 7 times. And some people laugh at me and they joke at me, and that's fine, right? But I took it personally, and I'm like, this is how I'm gonna provide for my family. Mm-hmm. I have to do it. So I say just don't give up and keep on pushing and keep on studying. And if you need help, give me a call. My number is 915. Just kidding. You can just call me, shoot me a text. I mean, we're here to help you guys out. On the house thing, I just want to thank you, right, for all your help. Without you, first God, Point, Carlos Villalobos, all the staff there, Renteria, and everybody, they really helped me out. My wife, my family, I think without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. How do you think you're doing this year compared to last year? Are you on track to being a top producer again? What does that look that horizon looking like?
This year, I think I am. It's a little bit more. It's not difficult, but we're since right now in my community in the east side, I only have a couple of homes left. However, right now I'm just like looking everywhere and trying to get everything that's there, from resales to new homes, and I'm just pushing everything that's out there. We got to take advantage of what's out there, and the market's there where the buyers are not fighting for the houses. Don't listen to the interest rates are high and all that stuff. You can later refinance. And I think right now is the time to buy. Yeah.
Well, like they say, the best time to buy was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time is today.
And even 20 years ago, my sister got a house at a 13-14% interest rate.
Yeah.
And she's a single woman, so right now I think you're a 7 or an 8 or whatever is there right now. I think like a 7 point something. You guys will be okay. It'll come back.
It'll come back down. You can always refinance. You can always revisit your options.
Yes.
But the one thing, so you can always revisit your options about refinancing. But the one thing that will never come down is the prices of homes right now.
Correct. I think we just had an increase now in houses, like 10, 15 grand. So people that were going to buy, they're coming back, and they hear, but why? Why is the house more expensive? And then like, what do you mean why? Because the price of the homes are going up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the interest rate is up. Well, that doesn't mean the prices are going down.
Yeah.
So that's the way the market's shifting.
Perfect. Well, it's always great hearing from a top producer like yourself.
Thank you.
I hope we can have you on this show maybe next year as a top producer for 2023.
Yes.
If anybody needs to get a hold of you, if they're looking for a home and they want to work with someone with the experience that you have, where can they get hold of you?
They can call me. Anybody can call me at 915-637-7633. That's
Perfect.
my phone number.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, JC, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you from outside.